This is my 1996 Honda Fireblade, and I'm about to respray the petrol tank with a rattle can. So originally the idea was just to take care of these rust spots and marks. There's one here. And there's a couple more dotted around, and it seems to have some sort of glue or protective something or other on it, but it seems to be just spread around randomly here, like dripped on it. There's a couple of marks here and there, and the goo. So like I say, originally I was going to just try and touch it up, but it's now going to be a proper respray. Quite bad here. This is a design characteristic of this bike, I think. It's just where part of the frame rubs against the tank. Some quite big marks here and there. Okay, let's get on with it.
Luke, I am your father.
Okay, so crikey, can't do myself. So I'm going to give this the hopefully final coat. There's a couple of little blemishes on it. Let me point you over there. There's a couple of little blemishes, but I'm not going to be too fussy. I hopefully have enough paint to finish this off. I have also ordered some lacquer, but I'm going to do the final coat. Hopefully it'll cover these little tiny blemishes. Every time I rub that down, it keeps raising up again, so it's possibly reacting to something. But I'm not going to be over fussy with paint out of a rattle can. Okay, so that's the end of my can. It looks okay. I'll inspect it more when it dries better. If I need another can, I need another can. So I've offered the tank up to the bike just to see what it looks like. For a rattle can job, I think it's not too bad. Now there is a tiny bit there that hasn't covered that well. There's the tiny blemish there. Every time I rub it down, it seems to raise back up. Like I said, I don't know if it's a reaction or not. It's a little bit sort of orangey, not orange peely, but not smooth. I'm wondering whether to get another can and give it another spray, or just put the lacquer over it. I wonder if the lacquer will flatten that out. But overall, I'm not that disappointed. So I'm not entirely happy with the finish. I want to cover up all the blemishes, and I think the bike could do with another coat. So I've gone and bought another can. This goes on quite well, just in case you want to see what it is. I got it off eBay. So I'm about to give the tank its final coat. I've been faffing around with this for far too long. It was reacting slightly in a couple of spots, and this was probably due to the fact that I didn't rub it down properly. I didn't treat it with a rust inhibitor. I didn't put proper primer on it. It was going to be just a little touch-up job, but it's now developed into something more. So hopefully the final coat will look good. I can take the masking off, and then hopefully I can then lacquer it. The nozzle is clogging now and again, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. So I got another nozzle off something else. Hopefully this will be better. Okay, I'm going to call that a day. The can's nearly empty and it tends to splatter when you get to the bottom of it, and I want to keep a little bit, touch up little things on the other bits of the bodywork on the bike. So I'm going to let that dry for a bit. I might let it dry for a day or two before I put the lacquer over it. So while I let the tank dry, I think the next thing to do is have a tidy up around here. So I've let it get into a bit of a mess. I want to move the blade from there, over there, and then I can start setting up the Zephyr frame. So I finished the painting. I now need to take the masking tape off and see how well that looks against the original paint, which I've sprayed up to. It could look dreadful, it might look good, I have no idea. And then we're going to give it a couple of coats of lacquer if it looks okay. So there are a couple of little blemishes to it. It's not entirely perfect, but from a rattle can, I'll take that. So this is the other side revealed. I'm really pleased with that. The biggest thing I feared that taping up would show a different colour match and look really odd. In all fairness, that looks pretty good. So when I spray it over with the lacquer, it will then take this little lip away from where I've sprayed up to it. There's a tiny little bit of leakage on the other side. I don't know if you can see that, just a tiny bit, which I'll get off with a little bit of solvent. But I'm really pleased with that. I'll put a link on the screen, possibly, of the company that I bought the paint off, because it's a great match and went on quite well. So, on to lacquer. Whilst I'm here, I'd like to give a thumbs up to my mate Mike. I know he watches the channel. He's been in hospital for a little while, having a bit of surgery. It wasn't the gender reassignment surgery that we all thought it was, but all the biking boys wish you well and hope you a speedy recovery. Take care, Michael. So I've done about 3 coats so far. When you spray it, it'll sort of...
So in the next episode I'll be giving the bike a bit of a shakedown, hopefully an MOT and maybe even riding it. So join me for that, like and subscribe, see you in the next video. When you wipe it off with a bit of rag and a bit of solvent, it comes off. I was a bit worried I might have to rub it down, but it's looking okay. Onwards and upwards. So here we have the final result. It looks quite shiny. I'm quite pleased with that. I've also Cerakoted the petrol cap. So in the next episode I'll be giving the bike a shakedown, hopefully taking it for its MOT and having a ride. So if you like that video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.